Welcome back to Local 4 Plus Live, everyone. Now, coming up next is an interview that we mentioned at the top of the show. This is lessons that we can all learn from and inspiration to turn tragedy into triumph. Joining us now is author Linda Shively, who wrote the book Getting to Joy, Practical Tips to Finding Your Way Back from Tragedy. Linda, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to share how I transform tragedy into triumph.
Absolutely. And you have an incredible story. Now, you wrote the book from your own personal experience. Tell us your story.
I'm sitting next to the head of pediatric intensive care. It's his day off, 2 days after Christmas. He should be skiing in Vail. Instead, he's sitting with me in my daughter Jessica's hospital room. Jessica's days from her fourth birthday, connected to all kinds of tubes, and is not responding. The doctor looks at me and says, "She's not going to make it." I said, "What do you mean? Does that mean I have to pull the plug? Tell you to kill my daughter?" Just at that moment, all the alarms go off. Code blue people rush into the room, ready to revive her. And the doctor just waves them away, saying, "It's her time to go." I picked up Jessica one last time after her life was fading, and I could still feel the life in her. And then it was gone. And as I held my daughter's tiny corpse, I could feel that deep grief wash over me. But more than that was a numbness. And that numbness remained for years. I wasn't able to feel anything. Eventually, I realized there had to be a way. There had to be a way to get back to the joy that she brought into my life. And I went on a quest to figure out how to transform that tragedy. And after years of grief and growth, I wrote that book, Getting to Joy, because it's not easy to find happiness after something like that happens in your life.
I mean, when I
And
hear you I'm sorry, when I first heard your story, I was completely overwhelmed, and it, just hearing how you handled it was incredible. And then to decide to write a book, I mean, that is, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be at a place where you even want to discuss it, because I imagine that you went through a phase where you just don't want to talk about it with people. How did you get to that point to say, I am going to write a book that will help other people?
it was a journey. I've always wanted to help other people. And I had to do a lot of personal growth in order to get to that place. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, you just figured it all out on your own." No, I sought support. And because of that support, I was able to get through everything that I've been through. And a lot of people think they can do it all on their own. And maybe that's true. It'll take a lot longer. And you may not feel as good afterwards. So that's why I encourage people to get support. And it's why I support my clients to help them find their joy again.
All right. Well, you say that when people have experienced this kind of tragedy, that it can be turned into legacy. So where's that connection? Explain that to us.
There are all different ways that people can leave a legacy. You can leave a legacy within your family, or you can leave it a bigger legacy beyond that. John Walsh, for example, after his son Adam was murdered, created America's Most Wanted, which became a hit television show and put murderers behind bars. Candace Lightner, after her daughter Carrie was killed by a drunk driver, fought tirelessly to change drunk driving and created Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And actually, in Detroit, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving walk is coming up on Saturday, August 26th. And there are other people who have left legacies after tragedies. In my case, I started a fundraising walk, and the Jessica Fernandez Walks to Cure SMA have raised more than $1.5 million to fund research for spinal muscular atrophy. When Jessica was alive, there were no treatments available. And we started small, it has grown, and the walks are now able to fund 3 FDA approved treatments.
Wow.
Those 3 treatments are now saving and improving lives of others afflicted by that terrible disease. And so I'm proud my daughter's short life was able to leave that legacy and be able to help other people, not just do better, but even survive.
Right.
And her legacy is the joy. She brought joy into my life, and now I'm helping share that joy with other people.
That's incredible. You just an incredible story. You definitely took that pain and you turned it into something that's helping others, which is amazing. Now, let's talk about some of the ways that you learned to cope with the grief. Talk to us about that.
There are many ways that I've learned to cope. One fun way is with laughter yoga. I know you're used to laughing with humor or comedy. Laughter yoga means you just laugh. It was started by a cardiologist in India who noticed his patients who laughed had better outcomes. And he thought, how can I prescribe laughter? And so he started laughing with people, just with humor and just telling jokes. And then they thought, wait, these jokes aren't funny. We've heard them before. It's offensive. And so he talked to his wife, who's a yoga instructor, and they created laughter yoga. So I'm going to just invite you to join me just for 5 seconds. Let's just laugh together, and I'll show you how easy it is. Ready?
Okay. My produ-
No, do you notice a difference?
I
If
do,
you
and laughter
notice,
is
just
infectious because as soon as I heard you laugh, that I started laughing. My producer, who you can't see off camera, started laughing, so it's infectious.
Listen, I couldn't help myself. So
Yes, that's
and
awesome.
when and even in grief settings, people think, "Oh, nobody's supposed to laugh because we're supposed to be sad." No, you can actually laugh and enjoy yourself. And I've led it for groups of bereaved parents, and they are so much healed afterwards. It's amazing.
Anything that gets us
And
closer to that healing is so important.
yeah. And there are other ways that you can do something, and that's to tell the story. You were talking about earlier, a lot of people don't tell their stories. I find if you tell the story to anyone, everyone, and just get used to talking about it, it becomes easier. And as you tell it in an empowered way, it actually becomes a superpower, helping you navigate any challenges in life. And so that's what I encourage. And some other tips are gratitude. We don't think about, so often you're like, well, how can I be grateful for something that didn't go well? Well, writing every day in a gratitude journal can actually help. Oprah finds that this is the most important tool that she's ever used is writing in a gratitude journal. So has Suzanne Summers. She said that is her number one mindset tip when I talked to her at the Harvard Club of Boston. She said it's so important when we take time out of our day. And studies have been shown that even just 3 items of gratitude every day for a week leaves you feeling better 6 months later than if you didn't do that. So
Wow,
that tip can really help. Yeah,
that's
just a
awesome.
simple tip.
And I think I've kept a gratitude journal before, and what's beautiful is when you look back and you remind yourself of all of the things that you were grateful for. So I can imagine that being a powerful tool to overcome something as difficult as you've experienced. What are some final words of encouragement that you have for our audience, for people who may be struggling to come back after a tragedy?
It is possible. And that old adage of time heals all wounds, I'm sorry, but I disagree. It's not time that does anything. It's what you do with the time that matters. So I encourage you, get support, get help. It is available and it is possible to transform that tragedy into triumph.
That is awesome. Wonderful words of wisdom. So where can people get the book?
You can get Getting to Joy on Amazon.com.
Awesome.
And if
Awesome.
you want to find out more about me, go to lindashively.com.
There you go. Linda, thank you so much for being with us this morning and sharing your story and for your openness and your transparency. We really appreciate you.
It's great to be here, and you too can transform tragedy into triumph.
Beautiful words. Thank you again, Linda. Amazing. I love stories like this, and I
she's
love
great.
people who share. She's amazing.
And
That's
and just
amazing.
what I try and do, every now and then is just let people know that like
before this interview, I got a quick chance to talk to her. Linda's incredible. Her heart's big. She wants to make sure that you're all right
Yeah.
through what she's been through. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
just it's that amount of selflessness and altruism is so hard to find that I just when you can talk to somebody like that, do it.
Absolutely. And I mean, because after going through what she went through, she could have been like, I need to worry about me.
Right.
I don't have time to worry about other people. I need to nurture myself and take care of myself and try to make myself whole. But she used this to help others, starting the walk,
Absolutely.
raising enough money to fund FDA studies. That's a remarkable woman right there. That's remarkable. Wow, I'm so glad we had the chance to talk with her. Again, the book is Getting to Joy. Let me make sure I give you the correct title of the book, Getting to Joy, Practical Tips to Finding Your Way Back from Tragedy. And as she mentioned, the book is available on Amazon. And also go to her website, lindashively.com. All right, so you ready to get into some headlines?
Let's do it.